Hello, witches. I am High Priestess Autumn Venus. Thank you for joining me here live on Instagram, or if you are watching the replay on Facebook or YouTube. I know I was on last night here on Instagram, but I want to be a little bit transparent about myself and my journey from being a Satanist to a witch. I started out actually as a Southern Methodist. I grew up as a devout follower of Christ, went to church 2-3 times a week, and of course every Sunday. Figured out for myself that Jesus is a fraud, a scammer, a liar, and a coward. So I was introduced to Satanism, and let me just say this, just to get it all out on the table. Satanism has nothing to do with murder, eating children, killing children, having sex with children, abusing children in any way. That's not Satanism. That person is a psychopath. If you hurt children, just to hurt children, just to torture, to kill, to butcher children, you are a psychopath. You need to be in prison. Satanism is atheism. Satanists do not believe in any god or goddess. But there are some witches who are Satanists. Let me just say this also. Witches and Wiccans are not the same thing. Wiccans follow the religion known as Wicca. A witch is an umbrella term taken from different traditions and made their own based on what works best for the witch. So yes, there are witches who worship, praise, and devote themselves to a literal physical Satan. But their numbers are small though. But I have to tell you, they do exist. And they too do not kill, maim, hurt, abuse children, animals, or anybody just to do it. There are a lot of stereotypes about Satanists, just like there are a lot of stereotypes about witches that are false, created by Christians to scare you, to control you, to the ultimate goal of destroying your life. That's just the truth. So back to what Satanism is. Satanism really is about yourself. It's worshiping yourself. It's declaring yourself as a god or goddess. That does not mean that you say, I'm better than everybody else. It's saying that you are not beneath anybody else. You are not second class. You will not allow yourself to be second class. You will not allow yourself to be disrespected. You will not allow yourself to be abused, bullied, have horrible, terrible rumors spread about you. Satanism really is about the person's self, thinking highly about yourself, having high self-esteem, having high self-confidence. It's about being independent. It's about standing up for the downtrodden, for people who can't defend themselves. I'm telling you, some of your favorite celebrities, politicians, painters, musicians are Satanists. But you would never know because you never know what somebody does behind closed doors. You really think you know those celebrities that you worship instead of Hecate? Do you really think you know those politicians that you worship instead of your chosen god or goddess? And that's the reason why your chosen god or goddess will not work with you, because you decided to put a politician, an actor, an actress, a singer in place of divine worship, praise, and devotion instead of your chosen god or goddess. You don't know these celebrities. You don't know what they do behind closed doors. Yes. Many of your favorite celebrities, actors, actresses, painters, politicians are Satanists. And some of them are the type of Satanists that do hurt children, eat children, intentionally hurt animals, intentionally throw babies against the wall. Yes. Yes, they do. But you would never know that unless you are with them in the home. And let me just say this. This is a live broadcast and I can see the comments. So if you see me quiet for maybe a second or two, it's because somebody made a comment that was quite frankly, retarded. So I blocked that commenter from the screen. So when this uploads onto YouTube and Facebook and you see me being quiet for a couple of seconds, it's because this was taken from this live broadcast on Instagram and I was blocking a viewer because they said something retarded. Call it what it is, okay? Let's use real language. It's retarded. It's not wrong to call someone retarded or call a comment retarded if it's truly retarded. Okay, if you say stupid comments on this live broadcast, you will be blocked. I don't give a fuck who you are. You're not going to hijack, kidnap this live broadcast. So if you see me being quiet for a few seconds, it's because I'm reading the comments and deleting the comment and blocking the person who made the comment. So let me just put that out there. Listen, as a high priestess, it's my job to protect this space from people who intentionally try to interrupt it, to disturb it. As a high priestess, it's my job to protect witches. And sometimes people get out of hand. They step out of line. They try to fight somebody who has so much fire as I do. And they end up having a heart attack or a stroke. That's why I tell people, be careful with me because I might post something that may give you a heart attack or a stroke. Okay? I'm pretty fiery. Even though I'm a Scorpio, I'm pretty fiery. Okay? And it's my job as a high priestess to protect this community from people who wish to interrupt it, to disturb it, to make retarded comments and think stupidly that they're going to get away with it. You're not getting away with anything. You're not. It won't happen. I'm not one of those people who turn the other cheek. Be the bigger person. No, fuck that. Just fuck you. Okay, so I have to. It's my job, being anointed by Hecate, the Queen of Witches, to protect this space. So I may say something that you may find offensive. You will be okay. If you're not okay, so fucking what? There are other witch pages who are nice and sweet and kind and gentle. That's not me. And plus, I'm from New York. If you can't tell by my accent, I'm from New York. I'm pretty fiery just by being here. So let's get back on the topic of hand of Satanists and witches. So like I was saying, if I was interrupted and had to really set some people straight. Some of your favorite celebrities are Satanists who do abuse children and abuse people and torture and burn people with cigarettes. Yes, those people do exist, unfortunately. But then you have the Satanists who are sweet, who are kind, who are generous, who are caring. You would never know because a Satanist does not look like the stereotype of a Satanist. Satanists and witches look like everybody else. When I was a Satanist, I chose to become a Satanist. I was not an official member of the Church of Satan, but I did follow their rules, or maybe even I would say their outline on living as a Satanist. And I would change some rules to fit my lifestyle. And I learned a lot from Satanism. The number one thing I learned as a Satanist is do not wear a wishbone where your backbone ought to be. You have to have a spine as a Satanist and a witch. You cannot be a spineless jellyfish, a punk, a coward, a sucker, a pussy. You can't be that way if you are going to be either a Satanist or a witch. You cannot. You cannot. Do not wear a wishbone where your backbone ought to be. That's the number one thing that I learned as a Satanist that I carried over into being a witch. I stopped being a Satanist because it didn't really fit my life as my life was changing. But then I decided to become officially a witch because I figured I just know things. Me becoming a witch was because I just know things. I just know things. I know the future. I could wish, W-I-S-H, wish for something and it'll come true. I'm not talking about making a wish on a birthday cake. I mean, I could wish for something and it'll happen exactly as I wanted it to happen. And then I started having what you may call prophetic, dreams of the future. I still have dreams of the future. I have always had dreams of the future ever since I was a little girl. Ever since the age of 3, I remember having dreams of the future. Always knowing who's on the phone when the phone rings. Always knowing who was at the door when the doorbell rings. Always knowing when somebody was telling the truth or lying. And I still have that gift. And I am never wrong. I'm not boasting. I'm not gloating. I'm telling you about myself. I'm telling you about myself. I have always had that gift. Always. Always. It was something that I was born with. Not everybody has that. So I started studying. First, I started studying Wicca, the religion. Let me say this about Wicca. Wicca is a nature-based religion. It is as important as Christianity, as Islam, and as Judaism. Wicca is a nature-based religion. And I like the religion because I love nature. I love being outdoors. I hate being indoors. I hate being cramped inside. I love being outdoors. I love going to the state's parks. I love going to the regular old park. I love going out into the forest. I love being outdoors. I love being by large bodies of water. Maybe because I'm a Scorpio, and Scorpio is a water sign, and that's why I love being around water. So I get a lot of peace being around water. I love being around water. So I started studying Wicca, and I realized, Wicca definitely is better than the Christianity that I grew up on. Like I said earlier, Christianity did not fit my life. Wicca did not fit, not Wicca. Christianity did not fit my life. I just couldn't relate to it. I could not wrap my head around the 10 Commandments. I could not wrap my head around that there is somebody in the Middle East with the name David in Matthew. Let me tell you something. Nobody that lives in the Middle East is named David or Matthew. Those are white people's names. Those are European names. Nobody in the Middle East is named David or Matthew. Everybody in the Middle East is actually 10 times darker than myself. Let's keep it real. Let's not lie. Nobody in the Middle East is named David or Matthew as described in the Bible, because those are white people's names. Let's keep it real, okay? Let's keep it real. And you know it's true. Read your Bible and you won't be confused. Can you imagine a white man with blonde hair and blue eyes living in the Middle East? What? With dark skin? Damn. Okay? Damn. So I started studying Wicca and realized that I really like this religion. I like how Wicca is so open to everyone. Islam, Christianity, Judaism is not open to everyone. We know that Christians hate the gay community. We know how they feel about trans people. They hate them. They hate me too. They hate you also. They do. They do. But Wicca is very inclusive. Wicca is very welcoming. Wicca does not have these super strict rules. You must follow me. You must do what I say. If you don't, I'll beat your ass. No, Wicca does not have that. Wicca is very welcoming. And guess what? With Wicca, you can choose to leave the religion and not have it held against you. There is no punishment for leaving Wicca as there is with no longer being a follower of Christ or Muhammad or Allah or whatever he calls himself now. Okay? You can leave. And it will not be held against you. It's fine. You can go. And guess what? Also, you can always come back with no condemnation. With no, oh, she's back. You will be welcome back. You will be welcome back if you decide to leave Wicca. But not with Christianity, not with Islam, not with Judaism. People will talk about you. Oh, look at her. Oh, look at him. Like, bitch, shut the fuck up. Okay? So I started to really like Wicca. And then that led me to learn about witchcraft and what I can do. That I'm not really making wishes. I'm actually doing witchcraft. I'm actually working with the elements: earth, air, fire, water, and of course the fifth element known as spirit or Akasha. And I started really diving into witchcraft. I really started diving into the different types of gods and goddesses out there for me. And then I really started studying Hecate because I felt drawn to her. I wanted to learn more about the Queen of Witches, Hecate. So I dedicated my time to studying, more and more studying. And then I had a vision of her, no, not a vision, a dream about her, to go to a crossroads in the Catskills of New York and mate with her on a full moon night. And she does have 3 faces: the maiden, mother, and crone, and she has a torch that is lit. Sometimes she has 2 dogs beside her. Let me say this: the type of dog she has with her depends on the type of dog that you like. So if you like pit bulls, she will come to you with pit bulls. If you like chocolate Labrador retrievers, she will appear to you with chocolate Labrador retrievers. It depends on the type of dog that you like. It will never be a dog that you are afraid of. If you are afraid of dogs, she will not appear to you at all. She's not going to come to you with a cat, a rabbit, a bat, a turtle, a raccoon. It will always be a dog, because dogs are symbolic of her loyalty to you. She will never appear to you with another animal by her side. It will always be dogs. So if you're afraid of dogs, get over that fear of dogs, or she's not the one for you. And guess what? It's okay if Hecate is not the goddess for you. She will not hold it against you. That's maybe shocking, but it's true. Hecate may not be the goddess for you. And it's okay. It's okay. If Hecate is not for you, you're fine. You're good. She's not going to punish you. She's not going to beat you up over it. There are other gods or goddesses out there that may be for you. And guess what? There may be no god or goddess for you. And guess what? You are still a witch because your spells work. I don't hear many high priestesses say this. That if you choose not to be a devotee of Hecate, you are not going to be beaten up. It's your choice. And you're not going to be punished for your choice because it's your choice. You have a choice. And whatever your choice is, that's fine. So I met Hecate on the crossroads in the Catskills of New York. That's how she appeared to me. The 3 faces, 2 dogs, which were black Labrador retrievers. That's my favorite type of dog. My favorite type of dog is the black Labrador retriever. They are just so energetic and fun. That's a good breed of dog. Labrador retrievers, black, golden, yellow, red. I think I mentioned chocolate Labradors also, are a great family dog. A great family dog. And I love them. That's my favorite type of dog. So that's the type of dog Hecate had with her when she appeared to me. She was about my same height. So I'm 5'3". Hecate is not going to appear to you as this big, scary giant. So if you are 6 feet tall, that's how tall she'll be. If you're my height at 5'3", that's the height that she would be. She's not going to show up to try to spook you or frighten you. She's going to give you an overwhelming feeling of peace. An overwhelming feeling of peace. Like mommy's home. Mother is here. And I told her, I told Hecate that night that I no longer wanted to be a Satanist because being a Satanist at that time was just not fitting in with my life. And she took her hands into my hands. I could physically feel her hands. And that night, on that full moon night, I became a devotee of Hecate. I was led to a coven that I prospered in. Now listen, you don't need a coven if you are a witch. You can work alone. But for me, in a big city like New York, it can be hard to meet like-minded people, even though New York is the most diverse state in the country. That's not me just saying that. It's the truth. New York is the most diverse state in the country. Everybody from New York tends to be from someplace else, either a different state or a different country. So I had been in a coven in which I prospered. I had abundance. I had a great high priestess that has since passed away. May she continue to rest in peace. And I learned so much. When I was in a coven. The number one takeaway that I got from being in a coven is to take accountability and personal responsibility for yourself. That means not blaming anything or anybody else for your shortcomings or for your problems, and solve the problem. When it comes to problems, I will say this to witches: look for the answer to your problem in the problem. So let's say, for example, your problem is with money. You write down that question. How am I to make money? How am I to pay my bills? Look for the answer in the question. What does that mean? What does that mean? That means just that. Look for the answer within the question. You know the answer. You just don't want to act on it, or you're not ready to act on it. You may need some encouragement from your chosen God or goddess, or maybe even an ancestor. Or maybe from your own familiar. Sometimes witches have a cat or a dog or a bird or a frog or a snake as familiar. Ask them. You will always get an answer. You will always get an answer. And more importantly, a solution. You don't need just an answer. You need to solve the problem, right? You need to solve the problem, right? You will get a solution. You will get a solution. I learned so much in my coven. It was a small coven of 13 people. I was number 6 in the coven. I learned so much. I was in my coven for 5 years until I was anointed by the Queen of Witches herself, Hecate, back in the Catskills of New York, back at that crossroads to be crowned a high priestess. Not somebody who is superior to everybody else, but someone that other witches can come to for divine counsel, because I speak only what Hecate says. I'm not a high priestess for everybody. Let me say that I am not a high priestess for everybody. I may not be your high priestess. And guess what? That's fine. That is okay. If I'm not your high priestess, that's okay. It's cool. Don't get, a little bit scared or uneasy or frightened that I'm going to do something to you. I may not be for you. And that's fine. There is no hard feelings. I want you to find the high priestess for yourself, or the high priest for yourself. I want you to find that high priest or that high priestess that will help you have real, significant, and permanently positive change through witchcraft. I want you to find that person, because no witch should be going through life the hard way. No witch. It makes me upset when I hear a witch say that he or she is going through life the hard way. I don't like that. No witch should be struggling. No witch should be having a bad day, having a hard day. Oh, my life is so bad and miserable. No, everybody else in the world who are not witches can suffer, but not you and not me. Why? Because we are witches. That's why. That's why. It's not saying that we're better than anybody else, but we're not beneath anybody else either. We're not. Witches are too intuitive to not see when danger is coming or hovering over our residents, hovering over our state, hovering over our country. We're too intuitive to not see when goodness, when prosperity, when abundance is coming. We're too intuitive. We just know. Sometimes witches know things. Sometimes even with myself, we know things and we don't know how we know them. We just know, and we know we're right. Am I right? Right. So after I left my coven, I started my own coven, which was very successful, by the way. I may bring it back. If I decide to bring back my coven, I will let you witches know so that you guys can have exclusive content when it comes to spells, rituals, hexes, and curses. I haven't decided finally yet to bring back my coven, but I probably will, because it will be mostly online unless I decide to have, a public meeting. And it's good to do it online like this, to have a online coven, because that means anybody from around the world can join. You can be part of the coven from your own living room, your own bedroom. So if I decide sometime soon to bring back my coven, I will let you witches know. And of course, it will be open to international witches. And I will keep you updated on that. So I started my own coven. My coven members definitely succeeded, definitely prospered, definitely are now currently living lives of real significant and permanently positive change through witchcraft because of my divine counsel and because Hecate added her strength to their efforts and bestowing upon me the information to give to them so they don't struggle in life. Because no witch should be struggling. No witch should be struggling. I don't want to hear I'm struggling. I don't want to hear I can't take anymore. What can't you take? You're a witch. Get the fuck up. I have to be blunt like that. I have to be forward like that. I can't beat around the bush. I can't sugarcoat it. I can't. I have to tell it like it is. That's that Scorpio coming out. Scorpios can be very honest, very blunt, very forward, taking note, not holding back. I'm one of those Scorpios that don't hold back. I speak my mind. I tell it like it is. I will tell you how I see it. You can accept it or not. And I am brutally honest in my delivery. I am brutally honest in my delivery. So that's why I say sometimes I may say something that might sound offensive or even disrespectful. But that's my personality. I'm real. I am real. I don't sugarcoat anything. I can't. I cannot. I can't spare feelings. Oh, that was mean. You didn't have to say that. Why you say that for? I'm a Scorpio. That's why. You don't have to be part of a coven, but you may have to be part of a coven if you see your spouse just not making any progress, just not working. You may need a high priestess in your life. You may need a high priest in your life. A high priest or high priestess is real, like myself, because it'll sound like they are speaking just to you, just to your situation. You will know because your own intuition will tell you this person is genuine. This person is telling the truth. This person is relating back to me. This person is offering a solution to my problem. And the solution to your problem very often, like I said, can be found in the question. By going to your chosen god or goddess. Or finally, for some witches, listening to their intuition with no back talk, with no arguing, with no going back and forth, with no picking a fight with their own intuition. Some witches pick a fight with their intuition. Oh no, that's not true. That didn't happen. Or that bickering back and forth. Don't do that to your intuition. If you do that to your intuition, if you argue with your intuition, you will hear your intuition less and less until you don't hear it at all. Why would you hear your intuition if you're going to argue with it, debate it, pick a fight with it, pick a bone with it, disregard it, ignore it. The more you argue with your intuition, the less you will hear your intuition until you hear nothing but silence. You don't hear shit. And that's your fault. Take accountability. Take personal responsibility. Stop arguing with your intuition. Stop picking a fight with your intuition. Stop bickering with your intuition. Stop going back and forth. Stop debating. Stop being a bitch with your intuition. Your intuition is your inner compass. It's never wrong. Some people may say, well, certain things in life has influenced my intuition. No, it hasn't. I just said your intuition is your inner compass. It directs you. If you don't want to follow your intuition, that's your choice also. But you are not free of the consequences of disobeying your intuition. And the consequences are always severe. And it is always your fault. Take personal accountability. Take personal responsibility. Your intuition is never wrong. Your intuition is a small voice. But you have to ignore other people's voices. You know that you are actually not stupid. You know that you are actually hot. You're sexy. You're attractive. Even though people in the past may have said that you're an ugly ass bitch, you're not. You're not. They are. But you're not. You're not. Listen to your intuition. Your intuition would never tell you anything that would put you in danger, that will land you in prison, that will land you on death row. Your intuition is your inner compass. Your intuition is your inner compass. It's a choice to follow it. And I choose to follow my intuition. The more I always act, by the way, on my intuition, I will always hear it. That's why I'm so intuitive. That's why many of you witches are so intuitive. It's only a small amount of witches who ignore their intuition. But I know you are a listener. You listen to your intuition. You obey your intuition. There's only a small, tiny, itty-bitty group of witches who don't listen to their intuition. And that's why they don't have real, significant, and permanently positive change through witchcraft. Because they choose to ignore their intuition. But you don't, and I don't. That's why we are prosperous. That's why we have abundance. That's why we have real, significant, and permanently positive change through witchcraft. Being in a coven definitely gives you community. Being in a coven definitely probably will give you the family that you never had before. You may see your high priest as your father, your spiritual father, or see the high priestess as your spiritual mother. But they're not going to spoon feed you everything. Being a witch also means making your own mistakes and learning from them. When you are a witch, you are always learning. And witches love to learn. I don't know any group of people who love to learn as much as witches. Witches love to learn new things to improve their lives, the lives of their friends and loved ones. No other group loves to learn as much as witches, because what they learn, they apply to their life to be prosperous, to have their friends and loved ones be prosperous. And they are always successful. Always. So I talk now for maybe almost 40 minutes here. So let me just land this plane. So I wanted to come on here and talk about my transition from being a Satanist, and maybe even from being a Christian to a Satanist to a witch. To be transparent, to share some things about myself. So we know that most people who are witches come from other different religions, and they found that being a witch is better than being a Christian, a Muslim, or a Jew, the Abrahamic faith, false religions I call them, and now have prosperous lives. And I know that it's going to help someone. This broadcast is going to help someone, either on Facebook, YouTube, or here on Instagram. It's going to help somebody. It's going to help somebody get back on the path of the wise of being a witch, or make somebody become a witch, because being a witch is so liberating. Being a witch is so liberating. You have unlimited potential when you give yourself over to Hecate or to another god or goddess, so that your life may become easier. Your life may become more prosperous. So I'm definitely interested in reading your comments and private messages about this broadcast. And I do encourage you to share this broadcast on your other social media platforms and tell your followers, tell your friends and family that there is a high priestess here in New York. Once again, my name is High Priestess Autumn Phoenix, who is anointed and appointed by the Queen of Witches, Hecate, to be a voice for witches who have ears to hear and hands to receive Hecate's best. So once again, thank you, witches, for taking time out of your very busy weekend to come onto this broadcast and listen to my story from becoming a Satanist to a witch. And like I said, I will upload this onto my Facebook and YouTube pages, so be sure to check those out if you want to screen share onto your own television and let the whole family watch it. That's what I do when I hear a witch or a high priest or a high priestess talking. I definitely turn onto my TV. What's it called? Screen sharing. I definitely put it on the TV to watch it if it's a really good message that I need to hear. So if this message is for you, watch it on your TV. If you have a smart TV, watch it on your TV. So I now release you witches into the rest of your evening. Thanks again for joining me, and I will speak to you witches soon. Bye, everyone.